Hey, this is Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro. Hey, I took my daughters out today and I was giving them golf lessons, and I was kind of looking at some of the things that I can help them with to get better. And here's a little bit of drill that I usually work on. And if you can see, I have a bamboo stick here. And one of the problems that my daughters were doing, they had a tendency to just kind of keep hitting behind the ball, hitting behind the ball. Now, being just beginner golfers, they don't understand the importance of, that the hands, that you have to move the hands in a sense, and it allows the club head to swing. Now, the reason that I have this stick here is simply for this. If you look down here, you'll see this golf ball. Now, the reason I have this stick here, and I don't usually take this to the driving range with me, but it's something I do pretty much right here in this yard, is what I'm making sure that I try to do is I try to have the golf ball right here. I try to have my head in line with this, and I try to get my hands past the ball and the head. It's almost like, like if this was a tape that runners were running through, like if they're running a sprint or something, you know how they run through the tape. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get my hands to run through the tape in a sense so I can get to the club head to the ball. And this is what allows me to get my hands through the ball in a sense. I don't get too deep into over forward leaning the shaft because the shaft is already leaning that way. It just allows me to make sure that my hands get past first. And this is a reference in a sense because when earlier in my days of playing golf, I always hit the ball high, but I was strong enough that I could just get through it, but I would always hit it just a little bit back or right to the ball. But because when I got here, my hands was more like this, and I know all you good teachers out there, you know and you understand that. But a lot of amateurs, they don't see that because they're so focused on what the club's doing that they're not allowing their hands, in a sense, to break between the line, as I call it, I call it breaking the tape, is basically where the head and the ball is, and you got to get the hands past the head and the ball. And if you do that, your hands will get past your right side like it's supposed to, or your right hand will get past your right side like you're supposed to, and you start breaking through that. Once you do that, then you'll start making more solid contact in a sense or whatever. And I'll tell you what, it's not really, really hard to train. Get you something like this. This is a bamboo pole that I found on the golf course. I just stick it up there as a point of reference. On my mirror, I have like a piece of tape that runs down the middle. And I basically just try to train to feel like my head stays on that pole and my hand and the ball is lined up with the pole. And I just feel like my hands are basically breaking the tape between my head and that pole. That pole, which that pole is representing the ball. And I'm trying to break right through it. And when I do that, I can go right through it. Now I'm gonna hit just a little chip to my daughter down there, and I'm gonna hit her upside the head because she's not paying attention. But what that does, it just allows me just to get a little, and I'm right through the ball. But anyway, take you something like this, a pole. You can take something like that. You can take your alignment sticks. I'm not a big fan of all that lining down there, But take your alignment stick, set it up like this, get you a long one. You know how sometimes you can extend them up. And I want you to extend it up high. Don't set it right here. I want you to extend it up high so it'll be head height. So you can see that the head is lined up with it, the ball was right there, and you feel like you're breaking the tape. You'll keep a nice flat wrist, or however you all want to do that, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But give this a try. Once again, this is Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro. And listen, I got some very nice videos out there with some very good information. Go ahead, take the time, learn the information I'm saying, and make sure you subscribe to my videos. The more subscribers I get, the more videos I'll end up putting up there. I've got some good information I want to share. And like I said, once again, this is Charles Calhoun, aka the Shade Tree Pro, and always good golfing.